Harry, because Harry has shown himself to be a man of absolutely not only no judgment, but a person who is surrounded by very poor advisors. This isn't just a defeat in a civil case. This is Harry being exposed as not telling the truth under oath in the King's Court. This is serious stuff. Make it clear to Harry that the Sussexes are not welcome at all in Britain for a very, very long time. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Meghan is a source of...
Oh, absolutely. Meghan is a source of evil. Harry has just lost a multi-million-dollar court case, and Tom Bower is giving him no chance to recover from the defeat. Instead, he has delivered a series of humiliating blows that Harry will now have to live with. Just wait until the end to see the crushing humiliation Tom Bower aimed at Harry after his courtroom loss. When Harry arrived in the UK to prepare for the Invictus Games, his first stop was the courtroom, where he continued his legal battle against the publisher of the Daily Mail over allegations of unlawful information gathering. After reviewing the evidence, the judge dismissed every single claim. Harry suffered a devastating defeat and is now potentially facing legal costs of around $67 million.
Punished by losing a case which has cost them at least £50 million in costs. For Harry now is downhill faster than he can imagine.
You cannot really blame Tom Bower for being so critical, because the Daily Mail case is not Harry's only problem. Sentebale, the African charity he co-founded in honor of Princess Diana, also became caught in a very public leadership dispute earlier this year, forcing Harry to step down permanently as its patron.
Reputation, because we've had controversy around the charities. He's lost control of Sentebale, a charity
that he co-founded. He's being sued by Sentebale.
And being sued.
Yes, he's being sued by Sentebale right now.
For defamation
or something. For defamation, yeah, absolutely.
By the charity.
Yes, his own charity that he started.
Not ideal. Then you've got African Parks. He's on the board of that, and he used to be the chief operating officer of it, and they're shrouded in allegations about the abuse of African tribes. Then you've got the Archwell Foundation, or Philanthropies, or whatever it's called this week,
whatever it
which
is,
has effectively been shuttered. And then you've got Invictus, which is losing sponsors left, right and centre. And now this?
No, this is a major blow to Prince Harry.
Tom Bower did not stop there. He argued that when Harry first brought the case to his lawyers, they should have advised him that it was unlikely to succeed. Instead of telling him the case was weak and encouraging him to walk away, Bower believes they convinced Harry that he had a strong chance of winning. Harry accepted that advice and moved forward with the lawsuit. According to Bower, Harry's legal team benefited financially by keeping the case going, collecting substantial legal fees throughout the long legal battle. Believing that victory was certain, Harry continued spending enormous amounts of money. By the time he realized the reality of the situation, he had gone too far to easily settle the dispute outside the courtroom. Bower argues that Harry's failure to recognize the risks left him facing a legal bill that could reach around $67 million.
I'm sure he thought he was going to win, because the lawyers around him kept on encouraging him. And you've got to look at the role of the lawyers in all this. They've been on the gravy train earning tens of millions of pounds because of the action against the Murdoch Empire and then against the Mirror Group. They won a lot of money. But this time, they thought they had it all sewn up because they had a concocted fraudulent statement, and they didn't realize it was so phony. Until, of course, one wonders how they got it.
According to Bower, the humiliation reaches far beyond the courtroom. Harry arrived in the UK desperately hoping for a victory that would restore both his finances and his public image. The Invictus Games were meant to become his moment of redemption. Instead, the crushing court defeat overshadowed everything. Bower described the entire situation as an absolute nightmare.
This has happened. It's become for them an absolute nightmare. And I think it's really Meghan. He's under, I said in my book, Betrayal, that he was brainwashed by Meghan. And of course, he continues to be brainwashed by her. And he is actually, I think, by now at wit's end. He doesn't know what to do. He's been humiliated in London today. He's going to, for the rest of the week, try to restore some credibility.
Bower believes that one of Harry's biggest problems is that he has been heavily influenced by those around him. On top of that, Harry quickly places himself in the role of the victim instead of taking responsibility for the decisions he has made. Bower argues that Harry has shown poor judgment time and time again. and that many of the people surrounding him have repeatedly given him advice that has only made his situation worse rather than helping to solve his problems.
They've been living in a bubble. They've been living in a self-fabricated bubble where they have effectively believed themselves to be the victims.
Yes.
Well, now they're not the victims, they're the perpetrators. They're the people who have victimized the Daily Mail and all the journalists who are.
Tom Bauer became even more outspoken in his criticism, describing Harry as unintelligent and suggesting that he simply fails to recognize when it is time to stop pushing his luck. Bauer argues that while Harry may be facing financial pressure and be eager to find new sources of income, that still does not justify continuing legal battles that have very little chance of success. In Bauer's view, Harry failed to see the clear warning signs that were right in front of him.
And Meghan, I think, was shrewd enough to realize that. I mean, you've got to be as thick as Harry not to realize that there comes a point where you can't push your luck too far.
He also believes that Harry's pride has slowly driven many experienced advisors out of his life. Even if Harry wanted the same level of professional guidance he once received while living within the royal family, Bauer argues that he may no longer have access to it. According to Bauer, the biggest problem is Harry's complete lack of self-awareness. He believes Harry rarely stops to question whether his decisions are right or wrong. Instead, he simply follows whichever path seems most appealing at the moment without fully thinking through the consequences.
Because Harry has shown himself to be a man of absolutely not only no judgment, but a person who is surrounded by very poor advisors.
Harry may have hoped to hurt the publisher of the Daily Mail, but the plan ended up completely backfiring. Instead of damaging the newspaper's reputation, Harry caused far more harm to his own. Bauer points to Harry's memoir, *Spare, as another example. In the book, Harry publicly identified the woman with whom he lost his virginity, even though she had kept that part of her life private for decades.
The way he exposed the girl whose virginity he lost his virginity to,
Behind
which
a pub.
embarrassed her.
Yes.
Which embarrassed her.
Yes.
She'd kept it secret for 20 years.
Which
or
was
more.
so good of her. And I would be
absolutely.
screaming from the rooftops, you know?
Well, you don't know, perhaps it wouldn't be such a good experience. I mean, perhaps you would be ashamed too. But I mean, that's the problem.
He also embarrassed one of his former teachers by revealing personal stories that many people believed should have remained private. Bauer argues that Harry repeatedly creates new victims while continuing to present himself as the victim. In Bauer's view, Harry rarely takes responsibility for the consequences of his own actions and instead places the blame for many of his problems on other people or outside circumstances.
He is now shown to have created victims, not only amongst the Daily Mail journalists, but I thought in his book, for example, the way he lampooned a teacher who had a problem.
According to Bauer, Harry began this journey believing he would defeat powerful enemies, but instead he became the architect of his own downfall. Rather than overcoming those he saw as opponents, Harry has caused tremendous damage to his own reputation through a series of poor decisions. He now faces the difficult task of rebuilding his life, and Bauer believes there is no clear path forward for him.
Yes.
Of slaying the dragons, he's self-slain. He's caused his own. It's a reputational suicide. Let's put it no milder than that.
Bauer says that wherever Harry goes, controversy seems to follow. Organizations linked to Harry, including charities and business partners, increasingly find themselves caught up in unwanted headlines. Some companies are now reportedly questioning whether continuing their relationship with Harry is still worth it. Bauer believes Harry now brings controversy, instability, and circus-like attention that respected organizations would rather avoid. In his view, many are reaching the point where they feel they simply cannot deal with him anymore.
We cannot deal with this man. We don't trust the fifth in line of succession. Well, if that doesn't cast him into the wilderness, he'll notice in a few days how it will.
The trust Harry once enjoyed within his own family has also weakened dramatically. The palace's response to recent events reflects what many believe is a complete collapse of that trust. According to Bauer, palace officials no longer feel they can depend on Harry to keep private matters confidential. Bauer argues that Harry is largely responsible for his own decline because of the repeated poor decisions he continues to make. Much of the public sympathy he once received has now faded away. Ironically, Harry continues to criticize newspapers over privacy, while many of his biggest commercial successes came from publicly revealing details about his own family's private lives. Bauer goes even further by arguing that Harry has become powerless. In his view, Harry no longer has control over his own future. Instead, other people and outside circumstances will play a greater role in deciding what happens next in his life. Bauer believes Harry's situation continues to grow worse, and recovering from it will be far from easy.
And Harry now is at the mercy of the grey men who he hated so much.
Yeah.
The bee, the wasp, and the rest of these people who he loathed. These are the grey men now who will decide his fate. And he's powerless to influence.
Even organizations that once proudly associated themselves with Harry are now rethinking those relationships. Boeing, one of the major sponsors connected to the Invictus Games, has reportedly ended its sponsorship, while other organizations are said to be considering whether they should continue working with him. According to Bauer, the opportunities for future partnerships are becoming fewer with each passing day. Harry and Meghan have now entered what Bauer describes as a period of self-destruction. They once seemed to have everything, but a series of decisions driven by ambition and desperation has gradually pushed them into decline. Bauer believes it is remarkable to witness the transformation from one of the world's most talked about couples into two public figures whose future now appears more uncertain than ever.
Watch how a couple have blown it, have now, in their desperation, gone to self-destruct mode.
They had everything.
They had everything.
Finally, when asked whether Meghan is the reason behind all of these troubles, Bauer is not someone who hesitates to speak his mind or hold back his opinion.
Is Meghan to blame? Is she the instigator? Is she the bad influence?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Meghan is a source of evil. I've said it many years ago, and it didn't make me popular with some people, but she's bad because she only thinks of herself. She is only focused on self-promotion, self-aggrandizement, profits for her, doesn't care who gets damaged in the way, and has behaved disgracefully.
What do you think about the harsh criticism Tom Bauer delivered following Harry's court defeat? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.